How's it going, everyone? Todd Brown, That Racing Show. Now, this morning, the entire NASCAR industry is talking about Chase Elliott, the injury he sustained off the racetrack, snowboarding yesterday, and the surgery that he underwent last night. Now, at the time of this taping right here, there has been no details about the actual injury he sustained, a timetable for recovery, or anything like that. If anything comes out like that, we'll try to get it to you just as quickly as possible. But a lot of unknowns right now with this, and a lot of ironic situations that are tied to this because, as I'll tell you here shortly, Chase's dad sustained the very same injury on the very same day many years prior. But we'll get into that here in a moment. But as I say, I just want to talk about this for a moment because by all accounts of what this sounds like is probably a fracture to the tibia, which is the lower leg bone that's in the front of the leg. I could be wrong, could be something to the back. But in most cases, it's probably going to be a broken tibia, which is in the front. And I have knowledge of this because I myself have suffered a broken tibia due to a racing incident many years ago, and understand the recovery process of this, the pain of it, and the things and steps to go along with it. Now, by all accounts of what I'm taking into this as far as what happened, this was probably either a compound fracture where the bone actually snapped and could have come through the skin itself, or this is a complete fracture where basically the bone snaps in two completely like this. In my case, the bone was still attached at the outside, so I did not require any kind of surgery, but it was a long 4.5 month at least recovery process that I'm not gonna lie, was very painful and a very not fun situation. So my heart goes out to Chase and what he's going through right now, because it's obviously a very painful situation. Now, the thing about this is where the fracture is depends on what kind of recovery he could have with this. Obviously, we've seen what Kyle Busch did in the past with a pretty decent recovery coming back and what he was able to do after that. But again, it depends on where in the leg it is. Could be in the upper leg. But I'm going to say probably right now, just pure speculation, that it's probably a tibia fracture. And I'm looking at him being out for several weeks with this, because it depends, again, where it's at, the amount of injury, because you could have a cast that goes from your toes to your hips. You could have a lower cast below your leg. In my case, I had one from my toe to my hips for about a month and a half, and then went through two different ones that were fiberglass casts from my knee down to my toes. And it's a long process. And like I say, again, wish him the best with this. Now, here's the thing we got to talk about. Bill Elliott, March 3rd, 1985. Sustains the same exact injury, if this is when, in fact, what happened to Chase. But Bill Elliott, broken tibia, 1985, March 3rd, at Rockingham. And it's just the irony of that, of March 3rd, 2023, Chase goes through this. So pretty wild scenario right there of how these dates lined up and how this played out. Now, in Bill's case, he was able to come right back to win a couple weeks later. But these were different days in NASCAR, different times. The way things were set up, many drivers then drove with broken bones and different things that a lot of them didn't even know they had at the time. But even ones that didn't know they had injuries, they were pretty much allowed to drive, but not quite the way it is these days, because NASCAR's wanting to make sure everybody out there, competition-wise, is safe, so they don't allow a lot of these guys to get in these cars if there is injury like this. But as I say, we're going to wish them the best. Hope it's a quick recovery, and we'll bring you any news that we can from this when it comes in. Now, I've seen a lot of different people, fans and in general, that have been asking why he was out there snowboarding. A lot of people saying that these guys don't need to be allowed to do things like this when they're not in a race car. Now, you do have to understand that these drivers have lives. They are athletes, and they like to participate and enjoy other activities other than just being in a race car, providing entertainment for fans. So people need to kind of hold that back a little bit, because if you look at most of these drivers, they live on Lake Norman here in North Carolina, and they're boating, they're water skiing, they're jet skiing. Some of them ride motorcycles. There's just different things that so many drivers do, and we cannot expect them not to live their life and enjoy their life and things and activities with their friends and families. So I hope everybody tones that back a little bit, lets them do what they want. Obviously, a lot of different drivers are racing outside of the Cup Series and dirt cars or late models, whatever they want to do, because that's just instilled in them to enjoy life and have fun. So we can't dictate what they get to do and what they don't. So I hope everybody just refrains from those comments like that. But anyways, we're going to be watching the racing here, looking for updates. And as always, we'll see you at the checkered flag.